guys, it's Piotr from Empirica, recording from our office in Wrocław. Today I come with a couple of hints to be considered while you're listing a token on an exchange. First one, SEX or DEX? What exchange should I choose for my listing? It should depend on your product and your community. If you have a retail product, go centralized. If you develop, for example, a DeFi staking platform, DEX will probably be much better. My first advice, don't choose a decentralized exchange for your first listing only because the listing costs are several times lower, almost for free. Sure, it might save you some money, but there's more to be considered. The user experience on centralized and decentralized exchanges is really different. SEXs are generally way easier to use for people, especially which are new to crypto. If someone can handle their bank account online, they'll probably find their way around the crypto without too much trouble. This is where most first-time crypto investors start, because it's familiar territory for them. A centralized exchange is also the easiest way to on-ramp fiat for new investors. So they will be able to send money from their bank account into the exchange and buy your tokens. On the other hand, DEXs like Uniswap or SushiSwap can be a bit tricky. The onboarding process could be more complicated for non-crypto native user because you need to know all about wallets and how to manage on-chain transactions. Punishment for making a mistake can be pretty harsh. So, to wrap things up, SEX or DEX? Always follow your community. And one more thing, sometimes projects have no community at all. We've seen it a couple of times. They list their token, but there is no supply and demand. So such a listing can be very unsuccessful. In such cases, it's better to wait with the listing and build strong community first. Typically, there are no listing fees on DEXs. However, you need to pay a gas fee, something like $1,000, sometimes more. It's for creating a pool and providing initial liquidity. On the other hand, listing on a centralized exchange can come with some hefty fees, ranging anywhere from thousands to even hundreds of thousands of dollars, often with no upper limit on Tier 1 exchanges. Let's face it, in most cases you will be not able to list your token on Tier 1 exchange in the beginning. It's super rare that they would accept you for your first listing. And even if so, you'd probably spend $1 million or more. Maybe think of exchanges where listing fees are more manageable, around like $20K to $50K, or sometimes there is no fee at all if you can prove that your token will be heavily traded, because that's how exchanges make money. And there are also regional exchanges, one could say emerging markets, that have access to local communities. This could be priceless for you in case you're targeting a specific geographic region. A good market maker will be able to give you advice on that. One more hint. When paying listing fees to exchanges, avoid paying in your tokens. If your listing budget is not too high, exchange listing teams might be trying to convince you that you can pay most of the fee in your tokens. We've seen some exchanges dumping acquired tokens shortly after they got listed. So better pay cash if you can. First of all, market makers will advise you where to list, introduce you to the right people on the listing teams, and verify all the communication channels. Notice that market makers can also negotiate better listing terms for you, and they should not charge for such services. And once you've chosen an exchange, you'll need to specify at least one market maker during the listing application process. The exchanges need to know who will provide the initial liquidity during your token's debut and the first weeks after it. And since they're in constant contact with the listing teams, having a reputable market maker on your side can increase your chances of a smooth and quick listing process. Plus, they'll help stabilize your token's price after you go live. So in a way, choosing the right market maker is almost as important as choosing the exchange itself. Now, when it comes to DEXs, you can set up a pool for your token and provide initial liquidity yourself. But it's helpful to find a liquidity provider that can automate that for you. It can be hard to efficiently manage concentrated liquidity on some of the popular DEXs if you're not using proper tools. Constantly adjusting liquidity ranges can help reduce the amount of treasury funds needed to provide liquidity. Here's something you should definitely keep in mind. Listen to this.
너에게 손대선 안 돼. 절대 하지만 이끌리지. 난 아플수록 널 원해. 멈춰 제발. 멈추지 마. 멈춰 제발. 멈추지 마. 아, 너 때문에 온몸이 타올라. 너 때문에 심장이 목말라.
Sounds impressive, right? Well, it's not real. It's a deep fake. Just like that, scammers are getting pretty clever these days. There are plenty of people trying to approach a project for listing, pretending to represent a big name exchange. They promise you a listing, but after they take your money, they disappear without a trace. It's hard to believe sometimes that they are not from a real listing teams. Just like how you shouldn't believe I suddenly learned Korean, don't fall for these too good to be true offers. We have seen it a couple of times how such scammers try to rob our partners. Once you pay for the listing, you never hear from them again. To avoid this, make sure you're talking to the verified representatives. And this is where having a solid market maker on your side is crucial. A good market maker can connect you with trusted listing managers and ensure that all your communication is legit. Now, if you're going the decentralized exchange route, you've got a different set of challenges. You have to watch out for bots and attackers who might try to exploit your initial liquidity pool setup. There are sniper bots that monitor the moment between pool creation and the first liquidity mint. They can jump in, manipulate the price, and buy up tokens cheaply, only to dump them later, which could mess up your whole project. To protect against this, you should use special tools. Or better yet, your market makers should be offering that kind of protection as a part of their service. How often do you find yourself buying a product based on rankings and reviews of its users? What if I told you that 80% of these opinions might be faked to boost the perceived popularity and quality of the product? Fake reviews can manipulate these rankings, making a product appear a top seller. The same in crypto. Wash trading, which means creating fake volumes, manipulates exchange rankings, making certain platforms appear more active and valuable. Some exchanges do that on a really large scale. There are often no real investors behind trading. Exchanges, fake volumes, tokens, fake volumes, but at the end, your community loses. Don't go that way. Choose an exchange that will not force you to fake volumes. Do not choose a market maker that talks about volume boosting and price creation. That is really short-term approach that will lead to token dump sooner or later. If you need some guidance on how to get listed, hit me up on Telegram. And that's all for today. Thanks for listening, and we see you soon. To sex or on DEX? That is the question. Whether it is wiser for the token to endure the fees and controls of centralized exchanges, or to embrace the freedom of decentralized waters, and by doing so, gain autonomy.